Your top props of the night in the NBA from the Sharp app coming up next. After a rough Sunday, we come back and pocket 1.8 units. We go 6-5 on the night. Our losses were mostly on big underdogs, so that helped us out with the overall profits on the night. That's why I do like playing dogs. I mean, I like playing favorites too, as long as I'm getting value there, but oftentimes you're going to get more value on the bigger dogs. And when they don't come in, if you're playing them properly, of course, they don't crush your bankroll. And the few times that they do win will cover, hopefully, it's going to cover the times that they lose. So 6-5 on the night. We make 1.8 units after an abysmal Sunday. Sunday, the worst day we've had here at Top Props since we started on March 1st. I went back. I wanted to check. I thought we had a worse night, but we did not. Over 6 units of loss. That was the first time we've lost 6 units. And I looked, 17 losing nights since March 1st. So that's not too bad. So we didn't have too many losing nights to choose from. The 6 units, hey, we take a hit there. We dipped below 90 units. Now we're back up to 90 units with our sights set on the 100 unit mark. We got to get there. So hopefully that's going to happen soon. Who knows? It could happen tonight because I've got a ton of play. I've got 17 plays tonight, which is crazy on a 2-game slate, but there was a ton of value out there. And so, hey, we're going to try to pick it off. You know, a lot of people, you'll see if they went on, very few people are going to have a run like this over the last 2+ months, 90 units. You don't see it very often. But what you do see, and part of why you don't see it, is people will kind of crawl into a shell and start taking less games when they're up because they want to preserve the win, especially people in this business. You'll see them on Twitter, and they don't want to, you know, maybe they got lucky for a week or two, and then they don't want to put all those units, you know, the fake units that they're risking at risk, and they want to just keep promoting that they're up X amount of units. Well, you guys are following along. You're with me every day. You know how it works. Sometimes I've got 5, 6, 7 plays. Sometimes I've got 12, 13 plays. Tonight, we've got 17 plays for you. So we're not fooling around. We're going to either, well, listen, we could go pretty flat on the day. That could always happen. But when you risk the 17, there's always a little bit of butterflies in your stomach here. Guys, when I give you these videos, I don't want to just give you a couple of plays. I try to drop a couple of tidbits here, some advice on sports betting in general that hopefully you're going to be able to take with you. And this is one of them. You know, when I look at plays, people do this often when they lose too. You know, you have a night like Sunday and people are like, oh man, you know, hey, things are going cold here. I'm going to scale back. I'm not going to play. You know, there's no such thing in my mind as cold and hot when it comes to sports betting. Now there is, if you are looking at the schedule, you have no system, you just kind of look at the board and you're like, well, what am I going to bet today? Oh, that looks like a good bet. That looks like a good bet. You can go really cold. You can get hot too. You can get really cold. One, because you don't have a strategy, you don't have a system. And two, now the psychology of where you are in your life at that moment in your betting life, that is going to dictate sometimes how you make your bets. So if you are coming off of a lot of losses, a lot of times you'll see people either tone down the bets, not make as many bets, scale back. And now scaling back is probably a good thing if you don't have a system, right? Because scaling back is going to hopefully preserve some of your capital. But if you have a system like we have here, this is all, I don't want to say it's automated, but it's model driven, where we're looking at the projections that are model driven. We get them from Cash Keg, of course, over at DFS Army, who does a great job. And we've got his models for the projections. Plus, I put them through my own model and then compare them to where the market is at. So if on a day only 7 pop up as a play, then I play those 7. If 17 pop up like today, I play those 17. In my mind, it's just like a dice, marbles in a bag, the roulette wheel, cards in a deck of cards. They have no memory. They don't know what the last roll was, the last spin. There is no memory in these inanimate objects. We lose focus of that. We lose sight of that in sports betting a lot of times because we're watching human beings play a sport, and we don't really associate that with the inanimate objects that are more familiar in gambling, like dice, like like the roulette wheel, right? But in my mind, that's how I play it. That's how I view it. So when my model tells me to play 17 games, I play the 17 games. This is also why you need to have proper bankroll management, and so that you can be able to play this amount of games. If you don't have the capital in your bankroll to play 17 plays on a night, then you're actually risking too much, or you are not allocating your bankroll correctly, or you don't have your entire bankroll, which is possible. You may not have your entire bankroll posted at the various sports books, but you should have that capital available to you if it is a legitimate bankroll. If you have a $10,000 bankroll, but only $500 deposited, that's fine as long as you have that $9,500 somewhere else, right? If you are claiming to have a $10,000 bankroll, but you really have a $500 bankroll, well, you're doing yourself a disservice. You are not practicing proper money management. You're probably going to blow through that $500 unless you get super lucky early on, right? So if you're playing it like you have 10,000 and you're betting $100 a game with just a $500 bankroll, it just takes one day like Sunday, you're out of the game, right? And if that happened, and that's happened, we've had a couple of 4-unit loss nights, 5-unit loss nights. If you jumped on board something like this that's been extremely profitable, you jump on board of that right when we have a losing night like Sunday. Let's say you started on Friday and then boom, you just get hammered on Sunday. You might be out of bankroll, claiming that you have 10,000. So yeah, well, I have 10,000 of kind of, it's there. I could pull from here and here and here. And then you burn through your 500 and now you're borrowing from wherever else you have to borrow from to make a bankroll, right? So it's super important to have a legit bankroll set aside either in your sportsbook accounts or in your own personal account underneath your bet. I don't care where you have it, have a bankroll and use your bankroll properly. All right, guys, the first play that I have for you guys tonight is going to be Al Horford. Threes, 1.5 is the number he has to beat. We're going to take the under, but we're getting plus 140 on that over at Pointsbet, 11.8% edge. Now, we think this is a 1.57 projection, so slightly above the number to beat is where we have our projections, yet we're taking the under. You'll ask this, I'll get asked this a lot in our Discord. If you're not in the Discord, just look down below and join the Discord. You could always ask questions in there. Best thing you could possibly do is join the Discord group. So why do we take an under on something that we are projecting to go over the number? Well, the over-under is just one aspect of the bet. That number, that 1.5, is just one piece of it. Now, how much am I paying in order to make that bet on the over? We had this situation last night. Now, it lost, but we had Jimmy Butler last night, and we were getting plus, what were we getting? Plus 165 to go under a half of threes, right? So basically we needed Butler not to make a three, but we were getting plus 165. Someone pointed out in the Discord that, well, Butler has beaten that number. He's gotten at least 1 3 in many more games in recent games than he has had no threes, right? But what they failed to realize, and I noted to them, was you're paying almost minus 200, in some books over minus 200 for him to hit that 1 3. It's far too high a price to pay to get that bet, right? So do I believe? Did I think Butler would not hit a 3? No, but he's going to not hit a 3 often enough to make plus 165 a worthwhile bet. That's the situation we have here with Horford, right? So we're going under. Horford has been phenomenal in the postseason right now with threes. He's hitting at an unbelievable rate, but he's a 1.5 3. He makes 1.5 threes a game this season. He had 2. He averaged 2 last season, 1.5 before that, though. He's never averaged more than 1.5. But in the last 3-4 years, he has shot much better from 3 and taken more threes. As a result, of course, his threes made per game has increased. But that said, we got to go back to the averages here. Even if he averages 1.5, that's his average. If he hits his average half of the time, and this doesn't always work, it doesn't work exactly half the time. He's going to make 1, half the time he's going to make 2, or over and under that, I should say. But it's about that. So we have almost an equal chance here of him getting under this number or over the 1.5 number, and yet they're going to give us plus 140. Now, the market obviously thinks he goes over. We think the probability of him going over is slightly greater than him going under. But again, that plus 140 is the key. So understand that, guys. This goes back to what I was saying earlier, especially when you're losing, it's hard to make that plus 140 bet because you don't want to lose another bet. You know, every time you bet a plus 140, plus 150, the risk of you losing that bet is higher. That's why proper money management, we're playing this to win one unit, not to risk one unit. And you're going to get sharper just by those little things, guys. Those little things are going to make you a sharper, smarter, better, and become more profitable, all right? So I wanted to give you guys that one out of all the 17 that we have. Just for that reason, I just wanted to let you guys know why we sometimes take a plus money dog when we don't necessarily agree in our projections. Guys, before I forget, give us a subscribe over on YouTube. It helps us out tremendously with the algorithm. I mentioned before, we're shooting for 2,000 subscribers by the time we get to the first preseason game in the NFL. If that happens, we'll be giving at least one of you guys a giveaway. Once we figure out what that giveaway is going to be, I'll announce it here. But you need to be one of the first 2,000 subscribers to YouTube. So if you could do that for us, it's greatly appreciated. And of course, spread the word about the Sharp app. We appreciate that a lot. Helps us give you this stuff for free. Now, the second play I'm going with is Draymond Green. We take a lot of Draymond props here at Top Props, but we're going to take the rebound number of 7.5 and look for Draymond to go over that number. Now, we're laying 115 at Fanduel. I've got that at a 14.8% edge because we've got it projected just over 9 rebounds for Draymond. Now, he does average 7.5, and he has not hit that average in the postseason but once, and that was in Game 4 of the loss. He got 11 rebounds. Last game, of course, short minutes. He gets thrown out, ejected from that game. I think he comes back this game. He has not been a force under the boards or under the rim so far in the postseason. I think angry Draymond means more rebounds, means Draymond Green playing aggressive, getting more rebounds for us. We need to get that 7.5. He's got to get to 8 for it to happen. I think we get there. I think we get maybe double digits tonight, Draymond Green on rebounds. So that's the angle we're looking at. The numbers coincide with it, and we'll see what happens with Green tonight. But again, guys, 17 whole plays inside of the Sharp app. Just go to content. People ask me all the time, how do you find it? Once you download the Sharp app, which is free inside there, inside iOS and the Play Store, you're going to see a screen. If you've never downloaded it before, you see a screen pop up asking you for Pro. If you want to subscribe to Pro memberships, you don't have to do that. Just skip it on the bottom and head right to the content section, and that's where you'll find the Top Props. All right, guys, I will be back with you later on today with a free play and tomorrow with Top Props. Let's crush this one tonight. Let's have a monster night and get it to 100 units. What do you say? Good luck, guys.